I'm going to tell you another story. It's called Donors Card. There's a man, and he's recently divorced, like 6 months before, and he's been holed up in his apartment, really depressed because his wife left him and wouldn't come back. So he's just moaning and, grieving and not being able to get any relief. So he decides he must be proactive and do something to change everything. So he decides he's going to do something good for society so he'll feel better about himself. And he decides to go down to the driver's license board and sign his donor's card. Well, he goes and signs the donor's card, but unbeknownst to him, he has a very, very rare blood type. And it's in his records, but no one's ever mentioned it to him. And so after he signs his card, he feels this sense of elation, like feels really, really good. But that night, as he drives to the store, he notices a car behind him. He didn't know why he noticed it. It just was a feeling, you get sometime. But he didn't think anything of it, so he went ahead and went to the store and went home. Well, the next day, again, as he was driving, he saw that same car. He really looked at it this time so he could identify it because it just gave him a creepy feeling. So for about a month, almost every time he went out, he could see that car parked near him or just, like following him. And it's really creeping him out. So about a month in, he's driving and he's freaking out because this car is behind him. He went to visit his mother, and on the way home it was dark, and he's looking behind him and he's looking forward. He's trying to dodge this car, but this car is following him everywhere. Well, the poor man has a wreck. What he didn't know is there was an ultra-rich man who had the same blood type, but who was going to die if he didn't get a donor. This rich man had all access to records, all access to everything, to find out who had the same blood type. And when he found out that someone with this blood type had signed the donor card, you know what he did? He had him followed, and he got the donation. Well, he goes into the hospital to get this surgery, and he's really worried because he knows he's been evil. He's been bad, and he's not going to go to the good place when he dies. He's terrified of death. So he goes into the surgery, they do all the tests, and they know he's a good match. All right, so they go in, they do the surgery, gets the donor, the organ. He wakes up, and he asked, did it take? And they said yes. Oh, he was so excited he finally could sleep, because this man has not had any sleep since he knew he was going to die. He hadn't slept one wink. He's just so excited that now, finally, he can rest at night, not terrified that he's going to die in his sleep. Well, that night, he gets on, takes a nice, luxurious bath, puts on his, best satin silk sheets, and he is just going to make a night of this first beautiful night he can rest. Well, as he lays down to rest, he starts to doze off, and he's feeling so happy that he can finally rest, and he wakes up with a startle, with a serious startle. He's like, what? Like, he doesn't understand. Was there a noise? But there was his dogs weren't barking, and it's just silence like it usually is in his house. So he lay back to sleep. Well, this happened all night. All night. Finally, early in the morning, he starts to be able to go to sleep. When he sleeps, though, he has a weird dream. He dreams he's driving in a strange car. And he has this feeling that someone's following him. He looks behind himself. He's got cold chills. Someone is following him. He's got that feeling. He's had this feeling before. He's never had this dream before. So he doesn't understand. He turns the corner, and crash. And he wakes up. He had just dreamed that he had a car wreck. Well, the next night, the same thing happened. And every night for the rest of his life, he dreamed the death of the donor. And when he finally realized that's what was going on, he remembered his mother's warning. Oscar, she said, remember, whatever road you walk people down is the same road you will walk back up. The end. This is called Donors Card by Candy. Peace, I'm glad you're here. This is Candy at Urban Pioneer.